Have you ever heard of healing vibrational music? Does the idea of an angelic voice combined with a dragon song spark any curiosity? If so, stay tuned. I'm absolutely over the moon to have a very special lady on the episode today. Her name's Lonna, and I met her during our quantum healing hypnosis journey in our course back in April. That soul-touching voice you heard at the beginning of the podcast is Lonna's beautiful voice. And I just want to let you know how special this episode is going to be. I recommend listening to this episode with earphones, as there will be some wonderful healing frequencies and some possible throat activations as well. So if you'd like to benefit from this episode, just set the intention that you're open to receiving, so that you can make the most of these wonderful healing sounds that Lonna has so creatively made. I don't want to give too much information away before I introduce the lovely Lonna, but the music you're hearing has been crafted and made with all of her energy and her healing vibes. The sounds are connected to 7 healing chakra frequencies that she uses in her vibrational music healing, all made by herself. So don't be surprised if you feel some healing or tingling from these healing frequencies once you've set the intention to receive. Welcome to the podcast, Lonna. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on and speak today. I know you've got a lot of things to talk about.
I do, always. Thank you so much for having me. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Perfect. So today's 12/12 and it's Mercury retrograde at the same time. What are your thoughts about this?
My thoughts? Well, we are in Capricorn, Mercury retrograde. So my thoughts on that are, well, we did have a full moon 2 weeks ago, which was pretty much pulling everything up. Pretty much saying, okay, what do you want? What do you want? And now we are letting go of the things that are no longer serving and stepping into creating goals and plans and a structured space forward to integrate those elements of ourselves. So it's an exciting time. It's a 12/12 portal today. It's a very, very potent time to make those changes. So I say, as much as we can learn about this, the better for ourselves and the people around us.
Yes. And I love that you said that we're kind of, releasing and letting go. How can you relate that to shadow work and how we can kind of manage that?
Well, you know me, everything is shadow work. So I think very much because it was Scorpio 2 weeks ago, we just came out of a lot of Scorpio. Scorpio was in 4 elements. So I think at this point of the year, it's pulling. Scorpio is the shadow worker. It's the alchemizer. It's the transmuter. So we pretty much had to sit with what we were not wanting to see, what we keep pushing down, what we are not ready to look at. So this is the time, and we have our planets to help us too, and everybody has their own configuration of how that looks. But I really feel like right now is time to release everything that's not serving. we've been doing that for the last 2 weeks. And now for the end of the year, it's very, very much about what parts of yourself aren't working for you anymore. What habits or patterns have you instituted in your life as a protection, as something in some element that needed to be there, and what no longer needs to be there now to allow for, the evolvement of your soul and for growth, and also to bring in new people in your life. Because I feel very strongly that the people we surround ourselves with are a direct reflection of where we are vibrationally. So I feel like when we make room for that, we make room for new people to come in to help kind of infuse that new energy and help align us to, our highest timeline.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So like, a reflection of the people who are in our life could be a mirror to what we need to deal with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, I think most often that's the case. I believe strongly that we chart our life. I mean, we have free will as humans, but I believe that the people coming into our life at certain points and certain times are teachers, and we are students, and vice versa. So if we can be open to, especially those out there people that you maybe wouldn't normally gravitate towards, the ones that are really just kind of different and pulling you towards them. I usually find that those beings are ones that really show you parts of yourself that maybe you didn't know were there, or bringing parts back into yourself to integrate in a deeper way that's more in resonance for like how your soul needs to move forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Everything, I'm a Scorpio, and a dragon being. So for me, everything comes back to that. There's a huge dragon awakening happening right now. A lot of things are coming through right now, and we are moving into the year of the dragon in February. So there's a lot of shifting. There's a lot of shifting of ourselves. There's a lot of shifting of environments and people that are around us. So I would just say that right now is a very potent time for a change, and it's difficult. So the more that we can do to kind of find our way back to our self-care programs, to find our way into, for me, if I don't do my daily practices, I don't even do half of them before I even get out of bed. So I mean, I have to do them, otherwise I'm going to be in the stars. But I find with those practices, it really helps you ground and anchor into the human experience while still maintaining your connection to spirit. So I would say anybody that can just find that balance between those two elements, because we are human. And I think a lot of us forget that, we're connected to the stars and that's where we come from. But we are here now, and we chose to be here now. So we have work to do, and we have work on ourselves that we need to do, and just walk authentically in that space so we can help others feel comfortable to do the same.
You mentioned that you're a dragon being. What does that mean to those who don't know?
Well, there's many forms of dragon beings. Dragons are shapeshifters, so they take all forms. They're all of everything and nothing at the same time. So for myself, and this is something that I'm going to be talking openly a little bit more about going forward, because I've kind of hidden for maybe about the last 8 months this information and just integrating it in. But about 8 months ago, I connected with a parallel self of mine that is around 3 million years old. She is about a 30-foot dragon being who is half organic material and half pretty much metallic. It's still organic, but she's kind of half AI, half kind of organic.
Wow.
So she can travel time and space. She doesn't need a vehicle. She was actually created by another species, but she is my parallel, and she's been with me in every human incarnation, and she's intense. And it's been a really, really interesting, amazing, crazy, tumultuous ride of trying to understand and differentiate her energy from my energy. And she's a powerful one, and she has a lot of rage and power that I've had to integrate and utilize in a positive way. And we are now very connected. She comes through in almost all of my hypnosis sessions with clients and personally, which I think is amazing. And I know we're going to be working together going forward in this work in a few ways. So stay tuned for more on that. But I call her V. She hates that because her name is a bunch of clicks and sounds and hisses, and it just does not translate to human language. So I call her V. She doesn't like that, but that's what we're going with for now. And
Would she prefer like
she's amazing. The two vowels I can get are, it's funny that you said it's a V and a Z or a Z. I'm a Canadian. So for me, I'm just trying to choose some element because I need to speak about her. I need to talk about her, and I can't just click and sound. So, I mean, I can, but it's just, it would be weird.
Yeah.
So, and she's amazing. I'm going to talk a little bit more about her planet and just the societal structure of where she's from.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very different from our world. And it's been such an amazing process. Just try to differentiate and integrate her and myself, and we are the same energy, but we're not. So it's been a really, really interesting journey, to say the least, but
yeah,
a ride. It's been amazing.
And you said that she comes in through hypnosis sessions for you and your clients. What about your other areas of work? Sorry, we didn't talk about that yet, actually.
Yeah. The number one way she comes through for me. So I'm a vibrational healer. I went to school about 12 years ago to pretty much Hogwarts. It's called Transformational Arts of Spiritual and Holistic Training. And I learned multiple modalities, forms of massage, how to work with plant medicines, aromatherapies, but also really, really like energy healing. I actually learned Reiki, but I use a Buddhist form of energy healing called Medicine Buddha, which I find is just a little bit more in resonance for me. But she comes through in everything. And once I knew and can differentiate her energy, I'm actually realizing how much more she's always been present in everything. So she is a being who communicates through vibration. She has 8 holes on each side of her face, where she communicates through vibration through her body. But she is an absolutely amazing singer, believe it or not, and
Just
as
like
am
you.
I. Not talking, it's like, apparently, and she told me that I have to choose an incarnation form, so a body that can produce sound, because it's the way that I communicate in every lifetime. It's my soul communication. So the way we communicate is vibrationally. So a lot of times it comes through music, it comes through electronics, it comes through other forms other than word. So I would say her and I communicate a lot that way, and she comes through when I'm doing my healings, like through my hands as well. But she's a really intense energy, so I don't always call her in. There's like for shadow work, yes, she can transmute. She's amazing. But when we're going into a little bit lighter regions, I kind of channel other things. But she's always present, yeah, and she's very excited to be a part of this. She's very excited that I'm finally doing this type of work where we can work together in that. And I really feel that we work very differently than a lot of people in this community. So I'm really excited to kind of see how that unfolds in the future. But she's really excited, I'm excited, and I really think that we can help a lot of people just kind of navigating this. And I don't know if anybody's explored working this way before, because she will physically meet my clients in the space during the hypnosis session, and she will fly with them and take them to their memories, which I personally have never had in any other sessions. So it's just a new world, and it's beautiful. So I'm excited to explore that with myself and with her, and my clients love it. So it's just a whole other element. That's this dragon being is here too. So
Oh, amazing. That's so nice. And to be able to be brought to different memories, like led by her.
It's unreal. It's just like, I never knew that we could do that. And that's why this work is so exciting, because it's just such a world that's like needs to be more explored, and it's infinite what we can connect to, and how much we can help, and just help people really find that power within themselves. That's my biggest drive, I think, is just showing people that they already have these tools, and just help them find them, as opposed to we are conditioned as a society to look externally for things. We need those people too, like going to the doctor, and but there's times where really those answers need to come from within. And the more that we know ourselves, the more that we heal, the more that we can receive information and be supported from spirit.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And what about the way you said she's quite excited that you're integrating her into your work? Does she have any plans for you for the future? She
knows better than to tell me what to do. It's really funny the way we communicate. We're very kind of sarcastic and like playfully disdainful with each other because she's very much like when I was awake, like I don't even want to say awakening because I feel like there's levels of awakening and we're all awakened when we're born. So I feel like there's points where she understands that I'm going to take the reins, and there's points where I'm like, okay, I need your help with this. And she is a dragon, so I mean she is a reptile being, like, so her heart space, the way she loves, is very different, and it's a little bit colder, more serpent like, and there's a time and a place for that energy, not always. So she's just excited to be a part of it. When we first connected, she was just so intense where I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can bring you into this because this is going to scare people. But over the last 6 months, we've really worked to refine that energy, and she just wants me to be doing as much as I can. She knows why I'm here. She knows what I'm meant to do, and I'm doing what I'm meant to do. She just wants me to be doing it more and putting myself out there more. So I am a hermit. I'm a manifesting generator, but I do have a hermit line. So there is always the balance of seeking opportunity in the world and showing your face, and also taking that time and space to replenish and refresh so I can show up in the right way for people. So we work together on that. She tells me things. I think I already know them because she's inside me. She's a part of me. So it's just this interesting dynamic. But we're on the same page for the most part. I don't think she just kind of tells me things I already know, but I don't want to hear. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. But I love her for it. Yeah, we have a very interesting relationship. We take on all roles, like mother, daughter, father, son, sister, like siblings, like it's just, yeah, there's a lot of love there, but she's not human. So it is different to speak with her and to connect with her. So, yeah.
And when did you first connect, or like consciously know that you were connecting with V?
I would say it was probably about 8 months ago. I felt her forever. I was told by a psychic when I was in that schooling program that I went to see. She's like, there's another being that is very prevalent in your experience that you need to connect to. So I've been trying to connect to her for all of this time. And I have been, now I know that. But for myself, because I grew up in a world that had nothing to do with any of this, like I was always seeking labels and needing to know and just tell me this, and they won't. And she's always like, you would like to know, wouldn't you? And I'm like, just tell me. But that's not the role, right? So it's just like, we're here as humans with amnesia because that's how you learn. We're here because if we knew everything from that experience, it wouldn't be the same. We wouldn't be able to human the same way. So she is present. She's always with me. She doesn't always come when I want her around, but that's okay. But she shows up when she needs to. So
perfect. And you are a shadow work guide as well, aren't you? Can you explain to us a little bit more about what you do and how you do it, and where people can connect with you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm online, so my Instagram is dale.lonna, which I'm sure you'll put in the notes after.
Yes.
I usually mainly heal via sound or vibration, whether that be my voice, whether that be Tibetan bowls, tingshas, whatever instrument that is, shakers, drum. How I work, if I'm in physical, actually not even in the physical, I like to work physically, but I don't have to. I see the body, I'm going to use instrumentation. I see the body like a holographic instrument. So when I connect with your energy body, I can see where there are dissonances. I can see where there are areas where there's energy leaking, or it's plugged, or there's nothing moving, or there's too much moving. And I use my voice, I use my instruments to kind of harmonize the body, put your body back in harmony and out of dissonance. And vibration bypasses language, bypasses everything. That's why you can't really get in the way of that healing. And I specialize in tuning fork therapy as well, which really is it's just scraping the surface of being understood now in our science world. But it's profound healing, and everything has a vibration and frequency. So when you can tap into that, you can balance everything. And for me, I'm just so passionate about that. And what comes up. I think it's just the human that I am, the dragon being, and we have so many fractal parts of ourselves. This is just one element that I'm choosing to work with in this time. But when we're working with those elements, I naturally seem to pull up these shadow elements in people. I think it's because I'm not afraid to go there. I have helped beings cross over in the transition process from this life to the next. I have also with the family, the dynamics, but also musically and helping them cross over and feeling safe enough to do that. I work in mediumship as well. I work in the underworld. I have one element of connection to Anubis, who is the god of the underworld. And I also have a connection to Metatron, who is the great teacher. So there's a lot of me that needs to teach. There's a lot of me that needs to express. And I don't have a fear of that. I feel like I can get into areas that other people might shy away from. And there needs to be a comfort and a safety that somebody feels to enter those spaces. So if I'm comfortable there, then somebody else is comfortable there, and we can help navigate them together. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just being like, go do this work on your own. And it's just like, that shadow work is shadow work for a reason. We shy away from it because it's hard and it's scary. And unless we have a community or somebody or anybody that can hold space for us to process that, we won't go into that space. So that's all the deepest trauma work, the deepest shadow work that we really, really need to pull up, which is being pulled up right now, which is why everything is shadow work. Because we've done a lot of work and the world has been in this space for a little time. And this is the remnants of what we really, really need to process through so we can really shift into that higher space. So shadow work can take any form at any time. I'm a huge fan of inner child work. I think that is just, once we can really connect to those elements of self and what we really truly need, we can start drawing the people into our life that can actually hold space for those experiences. And really, the number one thing I would say is nutrition. It starts with the physical body. We can't receive information if our bodies are not in a space to receive higher energies. So the more cleansing we can do with the foods that we're eating, with the practices that we have, even just baths and getting in water, being in nature, just simple things that really cleanses your body, because our guides want to connect to us. We have many protectors. We have so much support on the other side. And the more work we do here, the more we can connect to them, the more we can receive our messages, and the easier that process will be.
And when you say like a cleansing, do you mean like a raw food diet with obviously not including refined sugars and meat and dairy and things like that? I
would say dairy can be cut out, yes, because dairy just adds a lot of phlegm and congestion to the body. I wouldn't say don't eat meat. I feel like that's a personal choice. If you are going to eat meat, eat clean meat. Make sure it's organic. Make sure the chickens are happy when you're eating those eggs, that kind of stuff. I feel fruits and vegetables 100% need to be organic. It's those little things that really shift. If you can kind of go clean on the meat, that would be ideal, because we actually get more proteins from legumes, but not everybody's in resonance with that. And I think you have to really tap in with your body and really see what feels good for you. But absolutely, as clean eating as possible. Don't give up everything. I love coffee too much and pizza. I will never give those things up. And I tried and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be clean, but we still need to enjoy life. It's all about that balance. So try to be clean, but also have fun. It's a really serious time. There's a lot going on in the world, and we need to remember that, like, we need to be silly, be goofy, have fun, and find that balance in ourselves, because it's a pretty heavy time right now.
Yeah. So, you're right. We can't be too strict on ourselves when there are other things we are dealing with.
Yes.
You mentioned the underworld before. How do you navigate in the underworld?
It's a good question. I would say probably the closest thing I could describe it as would be probably similar to like how shamans would go in and kind of pull out elements of your soul process. So soul fragments or elements of yourself that pertain directly to this lifetime. We have so many fractal elements, so many things that are at play, so many lives that are playing a role in this one. But we have parts of ourselves that are meant to be called back in that directly pertain to aligning to this path and being in your highest process in this path. So moving into the underworld and understanding where people's traumas are, what they're working through, helps, and pulling in those parts themselves that help them heal those things. That's really just shadow work and underworld work. And it's really just understanding. Also, totem animals, I work a lot with power animals in animal medicines. And those are our guides too, that are just constantly showering us with messages and ways to move forward. And animals and nature are always the greatest healer. And all animals have an element that we can embody, and also be in the contrary, being like, we need to embody this a little bit more. And we need to call on all our guides and all of our resources around us to help us understand that path a little bit more. So moving in the underworld and helping people integrate those elements within themselves just brings a wholeness to the spirit that helps them just kind of breathe again, and helps them kind of shake the density, because this planet is so dense. These human bodies are so dense.
Yeah.
So we just have to learn how to navigate that as healthy as we can.
And do you come across many animal guides in your own life?
Every day.
Yeah. Different ones or the same ones?
It depends on what I'm moving through. I believe we all have about 11 totems. So we have a masculine guide and we have a feminine guide that is our representatives of those energies through our whole life. And we have guides that are, some are childhood, some are midlife, some are later. We have main guides where we are meant to embody the attributes of these animals for the betterment or for our soul purpose, why we're here in this journey. So I feel like we have those totem animals, but there are messages every day. If you're just open and aware and you find them, I have animals, I would say about 20 messages a day from totems and just animals around, or just, I also have, because I'm a shadow worker, I have a lot of animals come near me, or a lot of insects and reptiles come to die, actually, to just be in the energy with me and to move to the next space that they are moving to. So it's just a process of life and death. I think that is really just soul fragments, are these elements that, like, okay, I'm going to integrate this in and I'm going to let that go. So we're constantly in this metamorphosis, and the animal totems help us just process through those transitions easier, helping us understand, if you utilize these characteristics, this is going to help you, or you're kind of in the contrary here, like, which is the flip side, where you're too much of that energy, and it's just like, you need to balance this a little bit more for the benefit of you and the people in your life. So I'm constantly in connection with animals, with nature too. It's not even animals, the oceans, the trees, the rocks, everything speaks to us. So I'm in the ocean every morning. I start my day that way. I'm meditating. I just lay floating on the top of the ocean, just connecting with the sky and the sea. And I have so many messages that just come through, with water beings, and just, I'm very connected to whale medicine because of my singing, and also they're the ancient keepers of earth and the stars. So I go into the water to commune with them as well. So there's messages everywhere. There's guides everywhere. Yeah. If we just look for that support. Yeah.
That's so nice. And what important message could you give the world right now?
I would say slow down. Slow down and breathe, and surround yourself with people that are for your highest good, that are elevating you and that are helping you align to the path that you want to be aligned to. There's a lot of people that are giving up working, the 9 to 5, trying to transition into what really lights them up, what really is that power. And really, all of us are just trying to find that source. We're all creative beings. We all have an element of creation that we are meant to share. And I think helping people understand that we're not meant to just be trudging through the day-to-day and live it, like, there's so much more to that life. And right now, this is a crucial time in history. So the more work that we're doing on ourselves, the more that we're surrounding ourselves with the people, the more we're doing a work that allows us to receive the information and the support that will help us move through these things, the better. And I really feel like that's self-care, really, really doing the work, really going to that therapy, really finding that therapist or that modality even that really just resonates with you, that you find a passion for, that you find is really connecting with you in that way. If you connect with something that you're passionate about, that is healing in itself. And when you can learn how to walk your life in the middle way, where it's not so extreme and you're not trying to balance all of these elements, it's a smoother, easier ride, and you can be anchored in yourself regardless of the chaos and the storm that's going on around us, because that will continue and that's going to get worse before it gets better. And we need to prepare ourselves. And I'm not trying to sound like doomsday, but it will get worse before it gets better. And we are being called to stand in our power and to be that light to everyone else, because it is a dark time, and darkness is light and light is dark. They are the same, but they're just the polarity existence in which we live in right now. But that's not really the entirety of everything. We really just need to focus on ourselves and being kind and not putting too much pressure on ourselves, and really, really going deep. What is in your way? What is really standing in your way? And having that self-awareness and the authenticity in yourself, but also the accountability with self, because we can numb out, we can shy away from these things. And I'm sure we all have. It's very intense, but the more we can be healthy and heal these elements, the more we're going to draw the people into our life that will continue that growth for us and that will help us elevate. And we will be that for others as well. And it's just a process of really standing in that power. And that's what I'm passionate about. Also working with men, if I'm honest. I really feel like there is so much focus on the feminine, which is 100% accurate. But I feel like we really, really need to honor the masculine if we really need to shift this and honor that, how our men were taught, and take ownership for that and really shift that moving forward, because we are moving out of a patriarchal era. Too long, really, and we need to move into this space, but we also need to honor the masculine as well. And we really need to try and give more energy to healing that collective, in my opinion. But that's a whole other conversation for another time.
Yeah, so interesting as well. Yeah. And it's like you don't want, obviously, patterns to repeat when we're moving into the new era. So
exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's some things there that are needed to be there, or some things just need to be tweaked. But there are processes and patterns and traumas that just are really not for your benefit, and that really are getting in the way of you feeling your best, looking your best, like giving out your best. And what we put out, what we attract, where you are vibrationally is what you're bringing in. So the more work that you do on yourself, the more that you're vibrating at a higher level, you're going to attract that same level of vibration.
That's great. And is there anything else you'd like to talk about that you'd like to release from yourself today?
Just, if I can say anything, just have more compassion for self. I feel like we get so caught up in, oh, what's wrong or what this is, and it's just like, we're human, we're trying to figure it out, and we just like try and have as much compassion for yourself as you would for someone you love, for the people around you that you give so much energy to. Give that same energy and compassion and kindness to yourself. And there is no timeline where anything needs to be accomplished. If you just breathe and take it day by day and have slow progress, that is when real change will take effect. There's no urgency to this. I mean, there is to a degree, but it's really just the sooner that we're on this path, the sooner that we're going to be living in a way that like feels more in alignment with ourselves. So I would say, I could talk about anything. I could talk all day about all of this, but the number one thing I think that comes up with my clients is really just self-shaming. And that energy of I'm not good enough, or like all the stuff that humans have. And it's really just, we're all doing our best. We're all walking such a different path and have such a different journey from each other. And there's no room for judgment in that. We really just need to come from love and honor everyone's path and just take ownership for our own, but have compassion. That's my number one, I would say. Have compassion for self. I think that's something that we lose sight of, because we are caregivers and we want to help, but we need to be good in ourselves before we can give that back out.
Yeah, that's so valuable. Oh, thank you so much. I will put all your details in the show notes so anyone who's listening can contact you there and hopefully explore all the wonderful modalities that you provide in your work and your healing work. Thank you
Oh,
so
thank you so
much.
much.
Hopefully see you again on this podcast soon.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I did, and the wonderful music, the absolute angelic voice combined with a dragon song. And feel free to listen to this over and over again, and definitely get in contact with Lonna if you feel like that you'd like to really benefit from her amazing and wonderful music and voice and heal through these hard times. I wish you all a wonderful week and see you next time.